Welcome back everybody, Silas here today, and as you see, my truck's having a little bit of an issue. Over the weekend I went to pick up an old truck way out in the middle of nowhere in western Kansas, and on the way out there, my DEF warning, the deal on the dash came on saying that it's going to limit my power, and it's done that once before about 8-9 months ago, and at that point in time I just put some fresh DEF in it and ran it down the highway and it cleared itself. So I thought, you know what, I'll just do the same thing now. So I went into a truck stop, put some fresh DEF in it, ran it down the highway, and about 50 miles later, all the lights went out and everything seemed to be fine. I drove all the way out there, got that truck, drove all the way home, never had an issue with it. Then this morning, I get in the truck to head to work, and the light comes back on. I call and set up an appointment to get the truck in the shop, and then I go ahead and work at the other yard. I get in the truck to come out here, and the light goes back off. So it's just going off and on and off and on. I'm guessing it's a pretty common defect on those trucks, that the little the wiring harness basically on the DEF system, the sensor, that goes bad pretty easily. But anyway, my truck is clear full of expensive tools. Whether it's going to be sitting on their lot for a week or 2 months, however long it's going to be, I really don't want all my stuff in there. So I'm going to go ahead and clean the truck out, bring all my tools and all my other stuff in here. And then either tonight or tomorrow, I've got to get my other truck, my old Chevy that I used to drive all the time. I've got to get it going again. I haven't started that truck in over a year. And last time I got in it, the battery was dead, and that was a year ago. So I'm sure the battery is dead now. So I don't know what it's going to take to get that truck going. I'm probably going to try to find a battery for it. And then also, it's clear full of stuff. Last time I drove that truck, I had a bunch of tools in it. I had a bunch of car parts in it where I had stripped out some cars. I mean, it's got a bunch of stuff in it. The back of it's full of junk. And so I got to thinking, you know what? It's almost like a treasure hunt because I haven't even looked in that truck for over a year. And some of the stuff that's been in there has been in there for a long time. There's not that much stuff in my truck. I just need to get a bunch of this odds and ends stuff out of here. It doesn't have any reason to be in here anyway. A subscriber the other day gave me this pretty cool piece, 1935 Chevy. That's a piece there that if I would have bought that at an auction, I would just resell it. But because a subscriber gave it to me, that means I got to keep it. So I'm going to put it in here. As soon as my renter moves out of the office next door, I want to take stuff like this and put it on the shelf in there for display. Just a neat piece, but for now we'll put it up there. That's a pretty cool piece there I'm keeping as well. This here, believe it or not, is actually going to be in a video, but we will get to that another day. It's far too cool to be doing the video idea I have for that. That loader keeps driving by over and over and over and over again, just back and forth and back and forth. I don't know what's going on. A lot of this stuff, I mean like this and my goggles, stuff like this, it's not worth anything. I'm not worried about anybody stealing it. And I do have a few valuable things in here, like that there I always keep under the seat. I've got a really bad habit of just throwing stuff all over the place. Like I've got these here, so what I want to do is I ordered a backpack. It should be here actually today, and I want to put all of my camping type stuff in that backpack. That way when I want to go camping or make a camping video, I grab that backpack and go. I want to do the same thing with my tools. I already kind of do that with my camera gear. I have about 2 bags that I can carry all my camera gear in. I just want to have stuff set up to where I can grab it and go. I don't have to dig for stuff anymore. I just know where it's at. I got Double Trouble EcoFlows right here. These things are awesome machines. Definitely check those out if you haven't. I'll put a link in the description below. I don't recommend products that often, but I highly recommend these things. Here's something else a subscriber sent me. I'm assuming they made this pretty cool little piece right there. They've glued that car on some homemade forks in this here. That's another neat piece that I'll put in the office once I have an office. And they sent me these 2 old envelopes. 100th anniversary, if I can talk, of the Kansas Territory, 1954, and then the 100th anniversary of becoming a state in 1961. Plus they sent me a Christmas card, so I appreciated that. That's pretty cool stuff right there. This here's pretty well made. You can see that they even put a counterbalance on it so it wouldn't flip over. And they put little blocks of something on the glue or something on the wheels so it can't roll backwards. Can't roll around very good, so pretty neat piece. I've got to throw all the chains out of the back of my truck still, but other than that, everything else that's in this truck is stuff that needs to go home, camera gear, important paperwork, stuff like that. So I don't want to leave that in here. So we will pick this video back up whenever I have time to go home, get the other truck running, and dig through it. I haven't started this truck in over a year, like I mentioned before, so let's see what happens here. I can't even find the hood latch. There it is. Got my handy dandy glue right here. We'll see if this works. If not, I'll have to get the jumper cables out. And let's see here. I'll boost it. Okay, let's see what happens. We got something. Nope. This battery is completely 100% dead, and I don't have a very good connection on those rusty terminals. Almost. Oh, almost. Nope, it may not start. I may be stranded without a vehicle to drive. Maybe time to take this thing out and crush it. I got the jumper cables hooked up to it, and I hopped in the truck, and I tried to start it, and it fired right up and then died immediately. So I got to thinking, I wonder if the security system isn't messed up again. So right now I'm doing the cycle to reset the security system. Hopefully it'll fire up when that's done. It's been almost 10 minutes now. As soon as that hits 10 minutes, turn that back to off. 1002 and 10. No, it just doesn't want to start. That resets the security system, and that still didn't get it to start. It's just been sitting for too long. And of course, as luck would have it, I turned the camera off. I'm like, I'm gonna try it one more time, and then I guess I'll go find a good battery for it. But I hit the switch one more time and it fired right up. So go figure. Fortunately, it's pretty low on gas, so it doesn't have a full tank of year-old gas, so I can just go put some fresh gas in it, be good to go. I'm just gonna let it run for now. I've got to go drop that truck off at the shop, so I think there's enough gas in this to just let it run for a little bit. I'll only be gone for 30 minutes or so, and then when I come back, I got to take it out to the shop. I'm kind of scared to shut it off. I do need to go get fuel in it though, some fresh fuel, but I'm scared that battery won't restart. So I'm gonna let my Gulu recharge. It should be fully charged again by the time I get back. So that way, just in case it doesn't want to restart, I can hook that up and get it started. But if not, I might wind up stranded and have to call somebody. I guess I can carry the jumper cables with me. Well, I made it about a block and the truck just randomly shut off on me. Lost completely all battery connection whatsoever. I mean, there's nothing. Well, it's got a little bit of something, so I don't know what happened here. But it just completely shut off on me, so I don't know what to do. Well, that's all she wrote. It's gonna sit right there. I can't get a hold of my dad to get a new battery, so hopefully it doesn't get towed away. I'm not sure what to do now. I wish it would have not worked. I don't know why it worked for a block. The thing ran for 30 minutes in my driveway. Ran fine. Went right in gear, took off down the road, and it made it just about a block down the road, and I turned the wipers on and it shut off. Just old junk. I've got my old Dodge that I can drive, I guess, my old diesel, but it's out at the other yard and I have no way of getting there, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Well, I made it back. It was the security system that was messed up. My dad brought a battery out, stuck it in there, still wouldn't start. So I reset the system once again. Then after I got it reset, fired right up, ran fine. That's why I quit driving this truck, is because it would break down and leave me stranded all over town all the time. We're gonna shut it off, and now here's the real test. Fired right back up. Only thing is now I am completely out of time. I don't have time to do anything else today. I've got a bunch of stuff going on at home, but as you can see, this thing is just clear full of stuff. I've got tools, I've got antiques, I've got car parts in here. It's a disaster zone, and part of that is because a lot of this stuff right before this truck broke down the last time and I quit driving it, I had gone to a place and I had just bought a whole bunch of stuff and parts and just random stuff and stuffed it in here, and I never did get it cleaned out. So assuming this truck starts again in the morning, we'll just worry about this tomorrow. See you then. So this morning I go out to start my truck and it will not start. Reset the security system and it still would not start. Doesn't even try to start anymore. It just doesn't do that little start and die thing it was doing before or nothing. So I don't know what's wrong with it, but I finally just gave up. I had my dad come get me. I went out to my place and I got that truck. Had to bust out Old Faithful. The battery was dead last time I used it, so there was no battery in it. And when I popped the hood, the insulation under the hood had fallen down about halfway, and there was a big old rat nest in between the insulation and the hood, so that was pleasant. Luckily, they didn't eat any wires or nothing like that, so I was able just to go ahead and real carefully rip out the rest of the insulation, things that held it to the hood, and take it out of there real careful without dumping a rat nest all over everything. But I set a battery in it, and it didn't even turn over. It just fired right up. This old truck is good and dependable as far as starting. It's just everything else on it constantly has issues. The throttle position sensor is bad on it. I can't do more than about 45-50 miles an hour. So it's got a few issues, but at least it runs and drives. So I'm gonna drive it for now. I still want to do this video of digging through that truck in my driveway, but what I may have to do is take this truck home, clean that truck out into this truck, go through it then, and then take it all out to my place and unload it. I was really hoping I could just drive the Chevy out there, and that way I wouldn't have to handle everything twice. I could just put it where it goes. The tools could go with the tools, the antiques with the antiques, car parts, so on and so forth. However, I am leaving in the morning for California, so we're just gonna have to put this entire video on hold. I'm out here now junking some cars out, so I want to work on that. That's gonna be a separate video. I will see you guys whenever I see you guys next. Driving this truck is like driving the Millennium Falcon. Everything's shaking, everything's rattling. It's acting like it's gonna fall apart, but I think it's gonna work good enough. And good morning, everybody. It has actually been a little over 2 months since I recorded that last clip. I actually don't even remember what I recorded last. All I remember is that the truck didn't want to run right and I got tired of it and I had to have it hauled back to my house with the rollback because it wouldn't run anymore. However, as you can see, I am not at that house. That is because we moved. We've moved everything else out of the old house, and now pretty much all that's left is my truck sitting there in the driveway. I haven't had time to go through it. It has been insanely busy this year, just wild busy, but I need to get that done. So I'm gonna go grab my trailer, just go grab that whole truck and just take the whole truck out to my place. I completely forgot the back of my truck is clear full of shelves that I saved out of the attic at the old house. So I need to get those out real quick, put them in here. I've got a nice big shop now. I've never had nothing this nice in all my life. But for the time being, what I need to do is go ahead and just get those shelves out of my truck. I'm just gonna stash them in here somewhere. Nothing is organized. We're remodeling the upstairs of this house, so we're living in the basement. Everything is just pure chaos right now, and it's probably gonna be that way for about a month or two. All right, we are blocking half the road, so we have got to hustle. I need to find my winch. There it is. Can't get it out. There we go. Get my winch set up. I mean my remote for the winch anyway. I could back up further, but if I do, I'm gonna have to swing the front of my truck around and then I'll really be blocking the road. There we go. Got it loaded up. The back of it's full of trash because we kept running out of room in our trash can, so we just started stacking trash in here. I'll have to take it out and throw it in the dumpster. Yeah, definitely gonna miss this house. 10 years. All 3 of our kids were born and brought home to this house, but all things must end. On to the bigger and better things. And there we go, got it dumped off. Not sure what we're gonna do with this thing yet. I don't know. I've been using it for storage, but I figured out what I think is the problem. Passkey module up inside the dash, kind of up underneath all this stuff up in there. So you have to pull all this panel off. You got to pull all that stuff out there. You got to pull all this stuff out here to be able to get it out. So you're looking at quite a bit of work there. And then even then, that's not a guaranteed to solve your problem. So I've got to make the decision. Do I just sell the truck as is and let somebody else worry about it? Do I part the truck out? Or do I just go ahead and put it in the shop and get it fixed? If I knew it was something, you know, at $120 an hour, it's kind of risky, because if it's something they can fix in 5 hours, it's worth it. But if it's something that's going to take them, you know, 15 hours of working on it, then it's not worth it anymore, and just get rid of the truck and buy something different. But I'm going to worry about that another day. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is start going through here and see what all we can find. I have no clue what's in here. A lot of the stuff has been in here for a long time. Some pretty good stuff right here. Old bicycle license plate. Some jewelry. I don't know if it's silver or gold or what it is. Part of an old pocket watch. Actually, if I remember right, I found that out here when I did a metal detecting video a long time ago, now that I think about it. And actually, I bet you those there came out of a treasure hunt video a long time ago. Yeah, I kind of remember this little winch truck here, so it's been a long time. Oh, here's a wallet that I found in a car. I'm pretty sure. I think I took the money out of it. I do have $6 laying right here. It's kind of funny how when you look at this stuff, you can remember where it all came from. Like this here, bought a vehicle, and the lady had to have her garage door open her back, and we said, okay, come get it. And so I went out of my way to go get it out of the car for her and have it ready to go, and here we are, you know, 2 years later, and it's still sitting in my truck. And like this tag right here, they absolutely had to have that tag back, and it was still a good tag when we got this, so it expired 4 years ago. That's how long this tag sat in my truck waiting for somebody to come claim it. Some packing material, an old globe. I need to put that on eBay. I think that'll sell. Oh, check this out right here. I had this made several years ago, and now that I have a place to display it, I'm going to definitely take that home, put that on display. But this is an old hog feeder that I had a guy paint up like a bottle cap for me. I've got several more of these hog feeders right over there, so I think I'm going to do the same thing on those. But he did a really good job of making it look like a vintage paint job. Looks really, really cool. So I'm going to take that home and figure out how I'm going to hang that up. That's the only thing, is I don't know how to hang it. March of 2022, Jason Barnett. Guy is super talented. Bunches of eBay stuff in here. This all came off of a, what is it, 3rd gen Camaro, I think? Something like that, something out of the 80s if I remember right. Pulled all that off the car right before I crushed it, and this is all the further it ever made it. Got some tools in here. I think this is full of camera equipment here, like vintage camera equipment to sell. Got a bunch more tools back here. I was looking for those sockets just the other day. Right there they are. Bunch of miscellaneous stuff in here. Oh, check this out. I forgot all about this. This is my old gimbal. This works with phones instead of cameras. I completely forgot where that was even at. It's right there. And there's one of my tripods I was looking for a while back. All sorts of good stuff. Oh, and there's my headlamp that I was looking for. Man, all sorts of stuff in here, and I couldn't figure out where it was at. A raincoat, I've got plenty of those. I'll probably just throw that away. Ram head hood ornament, I've got so many of those I probably should sell some of them. I'm kind of a hoarder on those, but I don't know, I'll add it to my collection. Check out this really old camera if I can get the paperwork off of it. Check this thing out, figure out where I can put it real quick. Put it up here. I don't remember exactly how this works. I think you open this up. Yeah, you open this up. Here's the brochure for it. Complete instructions in photography. 50 cents from Sears and Roebuck. That's pretty neat there, but you can kind of see in there. Doesn't look like much, but it all unfolds and turns into a camera. That's a pretty neat piece there. I need to get that put on eBay. That is the really cool thing about this new place, which I'll have to show you sometime, is my eBay setup is going to be so much better, and I'll be able to do this stuff a lot easier than what I have been for years now. I'm just throwing most of the titles away. They're just for cars that I crushed years and years and years ago. But I found this bag down here. It's empty, so I'm going to go ahead and take all of my tools and put in there. That way they're somewhat organized, and I can take them and put them in the shop later. Now that I have a nice big shop, I'm going to get me a nice big toolbox, and that way I can organize everything. I've never had a place to put a toolbox in the past, so I've never bothered to ever get it all organized. These little tool sets like this are super handy because they're cheap out at Walmart or whatever, and so like this one here looks like it's already missing one of the pieces. If you lose a piece, it's not the end of the world, just because you can go out and replace it. And you know the piece might be in here somewhere just because I got so many tools laying around in here. Check this out. This is off of a DeSoto, I believe. Goes like that. Really cool piece there. That is not for sale. I am definitely keeping that. Check out this old book, The Story of Scrap. It's all about the scrap metal industry back in the post-war era, like late 40s, early 50s. There's some pretty interesting stuff in there. I've never read the whole book, but I've gone through it quite a few times. Once again, I forgot I had that. I'll have to put that in my office now. Found a tub full of money that I found in cars a long time ago, but then I found this here. I forgot all about that too. It's kind of an interesting little piece. It's got multiple 1979 pennies inside it. Just kind of looks interesting. Don't know if it's worth anything or not, but I'll put it in a, I call it a junkyard drawer. Just a random collection of stuff that I've found in cars or whatnot. I used to sell them on eBay all the time. I want to get back into doing that again. We're making progress. Found this. This is an ECM. I don't remember exactly what it is, but I saved it for a reason, so it must be worth money on eBay. But we're just about done with what's on the back seat. Obviously, I don't want to show the whole thing, but this is the original contract that I signed when I bought this property years and years ago. Kind of a neat piece of history, but pretty much worthless now. There we go. A couple of wire baskets. I used to sell these on eBay all the time. Boy, these things used to sell good. You could buy them at the auction, you know, for $1 a piece or $2 a piece. And I'd sell them for 10 bucks a piece, but then Hobby Lobby started selling them brand new for 10 bucks, so that kind of killed that market. And there's the Dad's root beer bottle that goes with that sign. This is an actual bottle here. I forget what year this one is. Sometimes they say on the bottom. This one here might. I don't have my glasses on, I can't read it. But yeah, I figure that's the same basic logo, so that'd be kind of neat to put on the display with that bottle cap. I'm putting all my stuff that I'm keeping in here. eBay stuff, the small eBay stuff anyway, is going to go in that one. Here's the forms I used to have to fill out when I was loading cars on flatbeds, but I haven't loaded a flatbed truck for 2 or 3 years now. It's been quite a while, actually. And then also I just found this. I have been looking everywhere for this. This is our good radiation checker right here for when we get pipe or stuff that I think might be hot. Although I don't really buy that much loose scrap anymore, so I haven't really even needed it that much. There's only been a couple times, and I just kind of took a chance on the stuff and put it at the very back of the load in case it was hot, and it hasn't been an issue. The battery is actually dead in this, so I need to get a new battery for it, and it's actually way past due for calibration, so we should probably actually go ahead and send that back in and have it calibrated, new battery, all that good stuff. We're just moving right along. I've been throwing away paperwork out of the door and out of the glove box, but I found this in the glove box. I forgot about this too. Official Used Car Appraisal Guide for Zone 3, December 28th, 1964. Published every 2 weeks. Let's hear what this says. It says a 1960 Rambler Super 8 in sharp condition for let's say a wagon. A 4-door, 8-passenger wagon at $625. I don't know if you can see that on this camera very good. It's not a good close-up camera. Let's see if we can find a little bit more well-known car. Okay, 1962 Thunderbird for a convertible, 2-door convertible in sharp condition, $2,050 in 1964. So that's when it was still a pretty new car. Or a Country Squire 9-passenger wagon in 1961 is worth $940 in sharp condition. That's an interesting little piece right there. That's another piece there that I need to put in my office. Somewhere I have some old receipt books from a police impound auction from I forget what year it was, but it was somewhere in the 60s once again. And they were selling cars, I think it was like the late 60s. I think it was like 68, 69, somewhere in there. And they were selling cars. Like there was a 57 Chevy 2-door hardtop Bel Air. It was listed as having wreck damage. I don't know what that means, but they sold that car for $5. And it was just crazy stuff like that. Stuff out of the 40s and 50s was selling for $2, $3, $5, $10 at the most. There was a few mid-60s cars that brought a couple $100, but that was about it. It's just crazy. But even in my lifetime as a kid, we went to many auctions, old farm auctions, and they'd have a row of old cars out in the field out of the 40s or 50s or whatever. And they'd say, what am I bid? And my dad would bid, you know, $2, $3 a piece in choice, and nobody else would bid against him, and so he'd just buy them all. Then we'd have to go out there. He had an old hand crank winch truck. I need to show that to you guys sometime. We still have it. But he'd go out there and he'd put tires on them, and if he couldn't get tires on them, he'd put an axle underneath them and lift it up with the winch truck, tow it in. We'd have to pull out all the seats, pull the tires, pull the gas tank, and then we would haul it into the shred yard. I wish so bad we had pictures of those days back then, but we don't, so here we are now. Let's see what's inside of this thing. One more latch, there we go. Okay, should, how does this open now? I don't remember. There we go. This is an old setup here. I don't remember exactly. Oh yeah, this is the camera here, the camera body. This is a Linhof, yeah, West Germany Linhof. Pretty neat piece. All sorts of accessories in here for it. Film slides, you name it. All sorts of attachments, lenses. Pretty cool setup, and I think it even has stuff in these little side pockets here. Well, this one's pretty well empty, just a cord. But yeah, it's a real neat setup. I think most of this goes together, so a guy really needs to sell it all as one kit. But we'll worry about selling the stuff later. Right now, we just need to get it all out of the truck. I cleaned out the door pocket and found all these. There's some pretty neat ones in here. I mean, they're all kind of neat, but I really like this one here. I don't know if any of you ever had these when you were younger. I had some of these. Oh, I was probably 5 or 6 years old. This one here doesn't work very well. It needs clean up a little bit, but it would be a normal door. You can kind of see there where it says fire chief on the side or fire department, whatever it says. And then when you would bump it with another car, it would spin around and then look like the car was in a wreck. So that's a pretty neat piece there. What's that date on there? 1983. Somewhere I've got several of those. They made lots of different styles. And then I found this old ambulance. This is Atomica here. I thought that was pretty neat. And here's a oh, this is an AMX. Yeah, AMX Javelin from This is Matchbox. Yeah, Matchbox Super Fast. And then I thought this Firebird was kind of neat. What's this? A Hot Wheels? Yeah, Hot Wheels. So I'll probably keep those 4 there, and the rest of these I'll probably put in a group later on and sell. There's some interesting ones there. Some not so interesting ones too. There's one there that got flattened. And then up here on the front seat, I cleaned out the center console, and I found like $26 or $7 in there. Then I was digging around, I found this box of 9mm. Not sure what that is. I guess that'll look good in one of my junk lots. And what else we got here? We got a thing full of charms. This little Kansas 1945. What's it say on the back of that? says disabled American veterans. This number here is registered to you, and so then it would be sent to you, if I remember correctly, if that's the way it is. So if you lost your keys, say something like that, and somebody could just take this, and they could just take this whole thing, stick it in the mailbox, and it would make its way back to you. I'm pretty sure that's how it worked. I could be wrong on that. I don't claim to be an expert on everything. Padlock and some keys, no clue what those go to. A knife, some old stamps here. Looks like a whole book, but they're kind of tore up on the end. But these are from the Swedish National Sanatorium, Denver, Colorado, 1905 to 1955. I don't know if those are any good or not. And then I found a couple DeSoto faces in there. There's a kind of an orangish, bronzish colored one, and then here's a yellowish one. They must be different years because they're different sizes. Found a Wizard right here, a tag off of probably a Wizard lawnmower, I'm guessing. These here are super handy pieces to have. Some bicycles, especially like high-end bicycles that have real skinny valve stems on them, or real skinny tires on them, I mean, they will have what's called a Presta or something like that, valve stems. And these here will adapt them over to the Schrader style. Sometimes it's hard to find a pump that will air up those other style of valve stems, so it's good to have these handy. I found a 1919 wheat penny and a 1941 wheat penny, and kind of funny how that's a World War II era penny. Here's a German coin from the World War II era. These two here are ones I actually found out here at the junkyard in the sand when I did my metal detecting video, which I need to do another metal detecting video. It's been a long time. Then here's my old torch tip. It's no good. I don't know why I saved it. It just needs to go on the brass. And then here's my clamp-on air chuck. And then there was this piece here. I'm guessing this is a shift knob or maybe a spinner knob, but it has a picture of somebody's kids inside it. Just kind of interesting. I'm sure somebody will buy that. But we're getting down to the bottom of it. Just a little bit of stuff left back there, and then a little bit of stuff left on the seat. That license plate wasn't in here. My buddy Skylar found that at a pawn shop and brought it to me. Just kind of a neat piece. But we're just about done. I'm gonna keep working in here. If I find anything else interesting, I'll let you know. So I was putting this stuff away, and I just realized that's a mercury dime that's on this thing, full of charms. So that's kind of interesting. I found a few more interesting things. I got this right here. I can show you guys. Sit down, switch hands. There we go. This is an owner's manual for an Allen X bicycle that has the transbar power. Really unique bicycles. I actually have a couple of those. I've had a bunch of them. I sold most of the ones I had, but I think I still have a couple left in storage somewhere. But that's just a pretty unique, interesting piece. I'll probably sell that on eBay. And then I found this old Dodge hubcap under the seat. That's for an old 60s, I think, like mid to late 60s Dodge pickup. Found some rope and extension cord. And then check these out. I used to buy these on eBay years ago. These are contact points out of some sort of electronic. These little silver circles right there are actually silver. Some of them are high-grade silver, some are low-grade silver. You never really know exactly what they are. Kind of depends on what they came out of. These here, just judging by the way they look, I'm sure these are fairly high quality content. And what I would do is I would sweat those off, which is where you just take the torch and you heat them up and get them real hot on the backside. And then you poke that little piece of silver and it'll fall off of there. And then you can take those, and I actually had nitric acid, and I knew the whole process of how you would dissolve them into the nitric acid, and then you would take and run them through this and through that, and then you would put them in another deal, or you would dump that solution into another jar after you've processed it and rinsed it and all that stuff. And then you would stick a copper bar in there, and you just kind of hang it, suspend it in the liquid, and then when you would hang that in there, the silver particles would actually swap places with the copper, and so it would form like a silver powder on the copper bar, and it would fall down. Really cool stuff. I wish I would have made videos about that. I still have a whole like 1 liter bottle full of silver powder, and at that point in time it's about 98% pure silver. And then from there you'd have to build an electrolysis cell, and that would refine it down to 99.9% silver, but I never made it that far. But I do have a 1 liter bottle full of 98% pure silver. However, I found out that some of these, probably not these, but especially your lower quality ones, have another element or metal inside them, or material. I forget what exactly it is, but I guess when you dissolve that in nitric acid, it releases an extremely deadly chemical into the air, or toxin into the air. And so I was doing this outside all the time, but I just didn't want to risk it anymore, so I quit doing that. I ended up selling my nitric acid, and I actually sold most of my silver contacts, but this here, I've evidently had this in this truck for a long time, because I quit doing that about 5-6 years ago. And so I'm sure I put those in here probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. But those will actually sell on eBay. There's probably about a pound there. So I think back in the day when silver was, you know, 15 18 bucks an ounce, whatever it was. This sort of stuff like this was going for around $10 a pound. So it's about a little bit more than that. So there's probably about 15 bucks there. Anyway, back to my finds. I found this right here. This is a steel penny. I'm not sure what year it is. It's a 1943 steel penny. So thought that was pretty neat. That was just laying under the seat. And then last but not least, I found something as I was cleaning out here between the seat and the console. And I found this. Now you guys, normally when I find a bank envelope in a car out here at the junkyard, sometimes there's a little bit of money in it, maybe a couple dollars, but usually just change, if anything at all. A lot of times it's completely empty. This one is not empty. I feel absolutely horrible showing you guys this because it shows just how forgetful I am. But this is what's in this envelope. I don't even know how much is in here yet. I haven't even counted it. 1, 2, it's kind of stuck together. It's been here a long time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $600. Go ahead and laugh at me in the comments because I somehow managed to lose $600 in this truck. I'm sure I sold something to somebody and they paid me with this cash in this bank envelope, and then I just I laid it here and it fell down and I forgot about it or something. I don't know. You guys know me. I'm always running 90 miles an hour. It took me 2.5 months to get this truck cleaned out. So combine that with that money down there, I mean, there's probably close to another at least $50, maybe $100 there. So that's, you know, $650 to $700 is laying out here in this truck. Unreal. I can't believe I did that. Makes me feel like a terrible person, kind of, but that's okay. I am getting better about staying more organized and staying on top of things. It's a slow process. I have to completely rewrite my entire brain, and there's something right there. There we go. I got it. Okay, anyway, I have to rewrite the way my brain works, but I am doing it. And I gotta say, you guys saw just how horribly disorganized this truck was and how I had tools and antiques and you name it all through this truck. And I don't do that with my new truck anymore. It's usually pretty well organized. Sometimes if I go to an auction, I'll buy a bunch of stuff and pack it in there. But within a week, I've got it all back out, and I've got just a small assortment of tools organized. And then I usually carry like $40 worth of emergency money, and I know right where it's at. There's no $600 laying under the seat. So I am much better than I was back in the days when I drove this truck all the time. I found my old K-bar or K-bar. How do you pronounce that? I don't remember now. Been too many years. There we go, got it out of there. That's a really good knife. I haven't used that in forever because I didn't know where it was at, but now I do. And then over here in this door, got some pretty cool stuff. Got an old, looks like a Tootsie Toy trailer. Looks like a boat trailer. And a tow truck. That's kind of neat. Then just a bunch of other miscellaneous tools and keys and who knows what else. What is this? I don't even know what that is. And then I found this funky pair of pliers. I'm not sure what those are for. I'm sure they have a unique purpose, and when you need them for just that one thing, they're probably hard to find, but hard telling. But then that's pretty much it for this truck. I'm gonna go ahead and finish cleaning it out. I have about 10 minutes left today. I probably won't get it all done, but then I'll go ahead and finish it later. We're gonna take this in, go ahead and drop it off to the mechanic and have him look at it, see if he thinks he can fix it. And if he thinks he can, we'll go ahead and have that done, and I'll start driving it again instead of driving the nice truck. I really hate putting all those miles on that diesel, in-town miles. That's just hard on a diesel. I'd like to be able to park that in the driveway and just let it sit most of the time again. I'd much rather put the in-town miles on this thing. That way, if it just wears out and breaks and falls apart, it's not a big loss. But with that, I'm gonna head out. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was kind of like a junkyard treasure hunt, but it was like the guy that runs the junkyard in his own personal vehicle treasure hunt. If we do fix this vehicle, I'm going to take it and I'm going to vacuum this thing out. There is so much dirt in here. I don't think I've ever vacuumed the inside of this truck. And you guys know I get filthy. I get covered in mud. I get covered in dirt. And so I just bring all that and put it in the vehicle with me. And then on top of that, it's been sitting for 2 years. And the doors don't seal quite all the way. So leaves got in here and then dust blowing in here. It needs clean bad. Like I tell people, my vehicles get really dirty, but at least it's dirt and not trash dirt. I'm not a trashy person, I'm a dirty person. The diesel, I do get it cleaned about once every 3 to 4 months. So at least once again, I'm not as bad as I used to be. And with that, I'll let y'all go. Let me know in the comments which item I found in this was your favorite item. I'd have to say the $600 is definitely my favorite. Beyond that, it was really cool to be able to find that knife again, plus some other stuff that I've been looking for a while. And then as always, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. And remember to get out there, find an adventure. We'll see you on the next one.